It's time to go truck and tractor pulling here with the Pro Pulling League. Welcome to the ARP Automotive Racing Products Elkhart County 4-H Fair Pull presented by Lucas Oil Products. We're here at Elkhart County, and of course this is a big one on the tour, on the Champions Tour, and we're going to bring you 3 different classes. We'll kick it all off with our Superstock diesel trucks, and then eventually we'll have the super mods out here, the multi-engine tractors, and we'll wrap things up with the unlimited Superstockers. Well, we're going to kick it all off right now with a crosswire truck driven by Brady Ingram. Way over there by the chalk, man. He is close to that left side line, and the distance he's going to put on the board is just across that 300-foot mark, 300.31.
So a bold move to take it down to that sideline and just inches away as we take a look at our running order presented by Hart's Diesel. So Ingram will kick off the class here. We'll see Kent Crowder right there in the middle and Eric Stacy, the last hook of the category. Those two are battling at the top of this points race. It's going to be tight all the way to the end.
John Mans with the Crazy X comes in here, that good-looking old-school Ford. Currently third in the points. Second and third hooks. Put that thing up on the podium, including a win at Osceola, Iowa. Boy, and that thing sounds good when he's able to apply all the throttle to it. Nice job. He's going to take over the lead here at 3:06.26.
And here's a look at those points I was just talking about, brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. And you can see how tight it is at the top between Crowder and Stacy. John Mans, staying a little bit of conservative there, going towards the middle, but actually picks up a good distance there as he's trying to keep himself in that third spot where those points really start to fall off. He's trying to keep himself in contention towards the second half of the season.
Good looking truck there. I love all the black. It's probably not finished yet, but it looks good. It finished up second in the points a year ago. He's going to come out here and put 299 and 35 on the board.
Yeah, and I love that he put the race hood on it this time. That's a nice little addition there with the stacks coming out of the side. And you can see that he really moved up towards that right sideline. Looks like this bottom half of the track, and that's going to be that left side that I'm referencing when I say that. That's going to be the place to be for these guys. But you got to commend Chase Eller, taking a chance, moving it up, trying something different, trying to give himself an opportunity to take the win here at the Elkhart County 4-H Fair.
Here comes the reigning champ, and our current points leader has been on the podium every single hook this year, including 2 wins. And another outstanding job here as he continues the trend. He's going to take over the lead here, 3:07.65, just a little bit less than a foot and a half further than John Mann's Crazy X.
Goes back towards that chalk line, and you can see he's fighting it. It wants to go that way, using those front drive tires to steer, to keep it off the line, but also does a great job of being patient. And that's what Kent Crowder is known for as a driver, is his patience on the line. You know, you see that smoke flutter out there. That means that he is reacting, organically and instantaneously when he feels those tires start to slip a little bit. And it doesn't get much better than that. We got a whole field to go, though, yet. Let's see if anybody can beat Crowder.
The Pro Pulling League is brought to you by SCS Gearbox, Champion Seed, and by Coltrane Energy Drink. We welcome you back to the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair Pull, presented by Lucas Oil Products. We're covering the Superstock diesel trucks. And up next is going to be Keith Witt. Keith Witt finished up third in the points 1 year ago and kicked this season off with a win at the opening hook. Leslie spoke to him earlier today.
So it's been a year since the American Pride truck has hit the circuit and coming back to Goshen after picking up a win last year. So what have you learned over the course of the year that's helped you really figure out this new piece?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is starting to figure out how to drive it a little bit better, maybe some days. But that's the biggest curve. With changing the turbo setup and everything, and just trying to get it drivable, and some days it works good.
So you brought on a second driver for the cross-wired machine. So do you think that's helped as well? So you're not as worried about setup and getting to drive that second vehicle. You can only concentrate on the one.
Yeah, that helps a lot because they don't drive the same at all. You get out of one into another, and it's a totally different driving animal, and you just overpower with one, and then you underpower with another, and I got a one-track one.
And tugs that one down at 3:05 and 64. Really nice effort there. That's good enough to jump up into the top three.
And these guys are all over the place spotting the sled. Just as we saw Kent Crowder go low, we see Keith Witt go high. And we saw his crosswire truck go low. And so he's doing something very, very different. A great move for him, though. Keeping him up there in the points, but he does have the number on this track as we saw him on the podium just a year ago here in this category. And so trying something a little different, definitely paying off for him here.
Trucks are so tough. This category is so tough. I mean, these are the big players, no doubt about that. As we continue on, this is Van Hazley with the Rock Hard Ram. Comes in here fourth in the points. Did get up on the podium at Joliet. Unfortunately, a couple of big hops there in the middle. RPM's got up there. I thought it might actually help him out when he dug in, but unfortunately did not yield the distance. He'll end up with a distance of 296 and 16.
He definitely had a faster ground speed off the line, but then you saw about the 200-foot mark that truck really kind of hop up, and then it never really settled back into the track. And so right idea here to try to get the ground speed up to something a little bit different, get that sled moving fast before that box tops off. But unfortunately, the track won on that occasion as he started to hippity hop his way down the track, and it just did not stop.
Up next will be the cream of the crop. This truck definitely has shown some promise, including at Henry, our last hook, when it stood on top of the box.
Really starting to figure out that new motor and get that combination together with the great things he already had in place.
Well, and again, showing some real muscle out here. That Dodge is tuned up this year, no doubt. Justin Gerhardt doing the driving, 3:04 and 41. Unfortunately, not good enough to get up on the podium, but safely inside of the top 5.
Yeah, and you can see he does a good job here of driving through those inconsistencies in the track as well as it starts to upset the truck a little bit. And one reason why that happens with these trucks is you've got to look at what a wide footprint that they have. You know, when you've got a tractor, you've got 2 tires that are 24.5 inches wide. Here, you've got trucks with 2 huge paths that are digging in. So you've got 4 tires that are trying to make their way down the track, and that makes it even more difficult. Earlier today, I got a chance to catch up in the pits with Eric Stacy. For the Smoking Ya team, this is kind of where push comes to shove. Just 4 events left here. Eric, and you guys have been good this year and consistent, but you still find yourself 8 points back. So how do you find a way to make that up in these 4 hooks when Kent has been so good too?
Yeah, we've, in all of our past success, like this year we've been the most consistent that we've been all year. We've just had one truck that's been more consistent than we are. One spot better every night. So I think, you know, maybe it's luck. I don't have any idea what it is, but you know, if we get some good draw numbers and just keep doing what we're doing, you know, we're having fun, you know, getting my wife Lily involved and getting her behind the wheel this year, and you know, it's fun to watch her. So we don't really have any expectations. Like, you know, we're happy if we get up there in the top 5, but we also know that we're capable of running for the championship every year. And, you know, as long as we're right there at the end of the year, whatever it shakes out to be, we're going to be happy, and we're just glad to be here.
5 consecutive podiums, but still hungry for that first win. He and Kent have been putting on a show all year long. Both trucks, both teams have been on the podium every single hook, but Kent's had the wins. In fact, he's had 2 of them, but he's not going to get the win here tonight because Eric Stacy and the Smoking Ya HD just put one together at 3:13 and 67 and currently stand on top of the box.
And it looks like he split the tracks of all the previous competitors, found himself some nice fresh dirt, and also found a way to level the truck out, to get it under control. And it's not really the track that makes these guys, you know, bounce out here. It's really the driver and how they're trying to apply that power. And so he was able to have that great throttle control where he wasn't breaking those tires loose. He wasn't really just letting them sit and spin. He was actually making progress with all of his throttle movements. And so he was able to drive it to perfection tonight.
Here's a look at how they will shake down. The top 3 in the points are the top 3 in the finishing order. However, it is flip-flop between number 1 and number 2. Great effort there out of all 3 for sure. Okay, let's go down to the podium and talk to Eric Stacy. Just grabbed his first win.
Very uncharacteristic for this class, Eric. We saw guys on the high side, the low side, everywhere, but we hadn't really seen a solid pass out of the middle, but that's where you decided to go. What kind of played into that?
Well, the track was surprisingly hard. It's usually kind of soft here, and the chalk lines were the hardest spot. So we were kind of trying to find a spot to where it would break free enough where the sled would actually drag through it. Dave put me in a great spot. You know, being last in the class tonight, we got to watch everybody, but, you know, we were all really kind of short tonight, you know, being from, you know, around 300 foot or so. So you really couldn't get that burst of speed that you normally have, you know, at 320 or 330. So it was a little bit strange, but, you know, all in all, like, the track was probably the best I pulled on here, and, you know, just lucky to be where we were and happy that we come out with the victory tonight.
Yeah, and it seemed like you got a little bit more ground speed than everybody else, too, able to get after it a little faster, and that made all the difference.
Yeah, it did. It picked up really quick out of the hole. I don't know. We'll have to go back and check it out and see what the data looks like, but hopefully we can do it again tomorrow night. First off, I got to thank my wife. I got to thank Dave. I got to thank Ronnie here. Sandridge Chassis, Scheid Diesel, Nichols Tire, Hazley Machine, Profab Machine, all the people that make this possible. Everybody, all the sponsors with Lucas Oil, ARP, you know, we've got so many people that are on board with this organization that do such a good job, and you know, it's the reason we're here, and we come to put on a show for the fans, and we'll try to do it every day we're here.
Great effort, no doubt about that. As you can see here, they are adding a little bit of weight to the sled. The Unlimited Superstockers are coming up next. There's a beautiful look here at the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair. Everybody having a great time here. It is a lot of fun. Fairs in the Midwest, man, that is what it's all about here. It is summertime and one of the most prestigious hooks here on the tour. Up next will be the Unlimited Superstock tractors presented by Kawasaki Parts Warehouse. And it looks like we will kick everything off here with lessons learned and Neil Gettinger. Kick the season off with the podium at Joliet. It's only the second hook for this class this year. Had a couple of podiums last year, of course, a championship-winning caliber team. Lessons learned will kick things off here with a big number. It's what we like to see, 333 and 47.
Just a beautiful hook here. Gets that front end up early, those tires locked into the track, and just screaming down through there. Look at that, the sled whipping behind him. As we talked about, that Goshen track wanting to make you go down to that left-hand sideline, just lets it drift. A little bit of brake would have just really kind of crushed the distance, and so he just lets that tractor do exactly what it wants to do.
Yeah, nice looking hook there to kick off the category. And here's a look at our Hartz diesel pulling order for the Unlimited Superstock tractor category. As you can see Neil up there and already complete, followed up by Jeff Hodem. He was second on the points 1 year ago. Then Aaron Hull will be pulling on two different tractors. The reigning champ down there in the 6 hole. We'll see him a little bit later on. In the meantime, speaking of Jeff Hodem, of course, a former champion in this category as well. And he spoke with Leslie a little bit earlier today.
Jeff Hodem seems to have the number for the track here at Goshen with a lot of past success. So what do you attribute that to?
Well, it's a lot of luck, that is for sure. It's a lot of luck and a lot of good starting positions, and I think tonight we're drawing number 1 position. We have a pretty low number, so we'll see how it goes. Roll the dice. We might drop it and come back for a second one. We'll see.
So what are you excited about this year? Because it's a new season, and you're just a little bit perkier than you have been the last couple of years.
Well, I got to attribute our success to our new Blackburn Racing Components motor from Josh and Terry Blackburn, and the turbo setup from Hartz, our Carlin Motorsports chassis. It's everything's working in tandem together, Humco rear end, and it's just doing really well for us. We haven't done anything really except send out turbos over the winter, get them freshened up, had a couple repair jobs on them, but really haven't changed anything. But I think we're finally getting the new motor figured out on the tuning side of it, and just able to go down the track and get down the track in a better shape and have more positive results we have.
Finished up second at the season opening hook. Does a nice job here. He's going to sneak by Neil Gettinger by about 9 inches or so. 334 and 22 to 333 and 47.
He even tries to point the tractor towards the right sideline to keep it from going that way. But as I mentioned earlier, he's really got the number on this track. Hits that brake at the last second. Look at him shimmy, shake out there. And the beauty of it is he is close to that white line, but it doesn't matter because the chalk stops at 330. Anything after that is bonus time, and it doesn't matter where you go on the track at all. So great job by Hodem of knowing exactly where he is on the track at all times.
Here comes the taking care of business tractor. Finished up third in the points a year ago. Had a couple of wins along the way. Really solid tractor. 4 podiums. Trying to get back in the hunt here. Missed it just a little bit at our season opener. A lot of hooks to go yet. Front end way up in the air, gets way over there by the chalk as well. Might have had to pull the plug on that a little bit earlier than he wanted to. 319.01 is the mark.
And I totally agree with that. He was on a heck of a ride. And once that front end cups up in the air, I think it may or may not have hit the wheelie bars. We'll get a good look underneath, and you can see those down there underneath between those rear tires. Keep your eye on his right hand. That's going to be a good indication. It does look like he does back out a little bit early, but also utilizing those brakes out there as well. I can't believe the action from the sled here in this class. I mean, we thought the tractors were going for a wild ride. I can't imagine what it's like being the sled operator back there, getting whipped around from side to side by all these guys.
So off of one tractor and right on to another. It's just funny how it goes whenever they get the pulling in order. You'd like a little bit of space in there to make some adjustments, but here comes Aaron Hole again on the Mini-Mo. Did put this thing on the podium 1 year ago in the 2023 season at Salem. And unfortunately touched this one down way early at 284 and 33.
I can imagine what it's like there for Hall to just rush back to the pits. And traffic is a little difficult here at Goshen, so he would have had to go all the way around the back. There's a road behind the pits back there, and to get his mind right to drive that Mini-Mo. We're about halfway through the Unlimited Supers. Stay with us, more to come.
And a good look at the stage here at the Elkhart County 4-H Fair. This is the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair Pull, and it is presented by Lucas Oil Products. One of the bigger pulls on the Champions Tour, currently covering the Unlimited Superstock category. Up next, this is Brett Backus. And the out-of-time machine is going to end up with a distance of 3:02.01.
Interesting to see him slide down that sideline. We saw Keith Witt have good success over there for our Superstock diesel truck, so we know that there's some good dirt over there. We've just missed it a little bit tonight on the tune-up, and you can see those beautiful covered grandstands here at Goshen that they added specifically because of the popularity of the tractor pull. It just goes to show how much people love pulling here in Elkhart County.
And up next, looks like it will be our reigning champ. It is Jeff Hurt, the Running Bear, and Leslie spoke with him as well.
The Running Bear took a win at the first event, but Jeff, you said you took it home and had to tear it all apart because it just wasn't running right, but yet you won.
Yeah, we weren't happy with the way it drove off the starting line. We've been a little lax on the love this thing's been getting. The Mini's been getting all the attention and that, and after Louisville, I was kind of bummed out with the way it acted down there and that, and kind of pushed it in the corner, went back to getting all the farm equipment ready, try to be ready for the farm, and getting past all the farm stuff and that, and called Dustin Hart again and that, and he's like, why haven't you sent me them turbos? Because there's 2 turbos on it that had gotten into the compressor covers when we did all the new safety stuff. The plumbing moved a little bit, and they rubbed the cover, and it just wasn't leaving the start line the way we wanted it to, and I got lucky enough to get a good pass out of it at Joliet, but hopefully now it'll be drivable and continue on doing good things.
And that big old V8 got off the line there today. An excellent hook. That's what these things are capable of. 349 and 60. And that is vintage Jeff Hurt right there.
I'm not sure anyone is surprised that he was unbuckled before the flames started coming out of the hood out there, because that's just his style. And it's just amazing to me the attitude that he has to just never stop learning, never stop competing, never stop trying to make himself better. It's just phenomenal to see his enthusiasm for the sport and how hard he and his team work to try to get better with every pass out here.
Beautiful job, and as the last hook of the category, he's going to break everybody's heart. including Jeff Hodem. Jeff Hodem finished up second behind him at the season opening hook, and unfortunately, he's going to finish up second here again. So Neil Gettinger will round out the top three. Our results board brought to you by AKE Safety Equipment. We appreciate their support, and let's go down and talk to our winner.
Well, Jeff, it looked like you had a little bit of trouble getting set to the sled there with the tractor. It kind of worried us there for a second. What was going on there on the starting line?
I changed the fuel system a little bit, just trying to get this thing through transition a little better. And it was a little rich, and it was cold. I hadn't even started it since this morning, and I forgot to warm it up, I guess. So it was a little cold, and it wouldn't take the fuel, and it just kind of blubbered there a little bit. And we pulled the fuel shut off, cleaned it out, drove out there, and I guess we won the 8250 tonight.
Well, it was a heck of a pass out there. And one thing that a couple of people have kind of mentioned here is the fact that it's been a long time since you run out of power out there.
It has, but we got it pretty lame. I mean, we got a lot of fuel on it, and we're trying to keep it alive, and it may run out of power, but I think it had enough.
It definitely had enough. A great night for you guys, keeping the streak alive here, keeping those 50s posted on the board for sure.
We're just going to keep trying.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back-to-back wins there for Jeff Hurd, and that will put him up top in the points by 4 as Jeff Hodem's hanging right in there. Neil Gettinger now in third place, just 8 back, and then out of time and taking care of business to round out the top 5. The points board courtesy of Summit Racing Equipment. We appreciate their support as well. Once again, we'll change the weights in the sled. We'll pump it up just a bit because the big dogs are coming out to play. The Supermod tractors are up next. Once again, we welcome you back to the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair Bowl presented by Lucas Oil Products. Ha-ha! How about the multi-engine tractors ready to make some noise? That's a good look at Steve Bunnage and the tractor called Takes a Lookin'. Been out here on the tour for a number of years, can certainly get it done. There's no question about that. Leslie spoke to him earlier.
We're excited to have Takes a Lookin' back after Steve came off the IL last year, and so all healthy and ready to go. But Henry, you said it was just a small part that caused you some problems.
Yeah. We was first hook, and it made a hard left-hand turn, hit a soft spot, so we dropped. Second pass, we did some changing. It was going good, and then this thaw bracket right here, it just fell off. Shut the motor off about 75 foot, and it don't like a 4-engine gear with 3 motors running. So, but it's still, we still end up 6, but it's still, it's working out. We got a lot of new stuff on here since 2 years ago when we changed everything over. Last year, made 3 passes and had a wreck and broke my arm. So it's still a new tractor.
So let's just put it in perspective for people. You lose this front engine up here. How much power are you down, and what does that do to the drivability of the tractor?
You're losing about 25. You're usually losing a quarter of our horsepower, 2,500 horses, and everything is so maxed out, everything precision. So the gear ratio has got to match perfectly. So if you lose one motor, even if you lose a cylinder, it's going to hurt you going down the track. So when we lost a complete motor, it just totally RPMs went from 8 grand down to half. It went about 4,000 RPMs.
Green flag, course is clear. Here we go. First Supermod of the day. Wow, going way left over there by the chalk. Finally had to get out of the throttle. The brakes just will not pull these things back when they are at full song. So he had to pull back just a bit. Obviously, it's going to hurt him significantly in his distance at 3:03 and 86.
I wonder if they're going to take a look at the sled setting here, though, because this was an extremely wild ride here for Bunnage. And you can see he goes directly that sideline and lots of brake over there. And even though the sled's out of bounds, he's still in. So the distance counts. But if somebody in the group can put it on rails and shoot it straight to the top end, they're going to be going a long way. So they'll have to think long and hard about it here.
Here's our Hartz diesel pulling order for the super modified tractor category with Brandon Simon up top. After that sled reset, Dave Walsh, Brett Berg, Craig Sage. So some hitters in here. Dave Walsh with his team tractors. Of course, they are back-to-back. It just never seems to fail. As we continue on here after that sled reset, it is all starting again. Simon says a tough player came out of the gate with a win right off the bat this year, and then followed that up with a second-place finish. He was steering that thing, no doubt about that. 338 and 92. He had to work for every foot of it for sure, but boy, it laid it down.
I was just noticing his active hands as well, Ken, and he is just really wheeling that. But here's the thing you may not understand is there's a lot of play in that steering wheel. So no matter that he's turning it a full circle, it's only giving it a little bit of a turn on the front end. We'll ride along here with Logan Thomas and see what it's like to go about 35 miles an hour down the track, getting pulled by 10,000 horsepower. And you can tell he's holding on for dear life there with just the lap belt in the decision maker sled out there.
Yeah, that's quite a ride. He was leaning back, too, as they got towards the end of the track. He was trying to slow him down a little bit. I don't know if that's fair. Funny stuff, man, for sure. So great hook there for Brandon Simon, and the Simon says that will be the mark to beat here. He's got to be happy with that one. And up next will be Dave Walsh with the 4 aces. Find out how Dave Walsh can do here in front of this crowd. Always on hand. They are a very, very knowledgeable group of people. They've been watching tractor pulls here for many, many years, and they absolutely love it. In the heart of the Midwest and farm country as the turbine-powered machine hooks up to the sled.
Yeah, Dave told me these Pratt & Whitneys have a little bit more drivability, so let's see what he can do out here. This track throwing everybody for a loop.
Wow, it picked up the front end beautifully. I mean, it just looked like weight placement could not have been much better. Unfortunately, the distance not there at 305 and 91.
Yeah, and I think he was headed for that sideline too. Knew he just had to burn it in as much as he could. Use those brakes a little bit to keep it in out there. And when I said it, this track is throwing everybody for a loop. The whole key is here, we haven't seen very many straight runs at all. Brandon Simon probably came the closest, and he was still leaning down towards that sideline as well. And so, you know, he's going to make his way back, take another long look at the track before he tries to get in his next vehicle to make another go of it. Going to have an advantage here, though, because he's already felt what it's like out there on the track.
Up next will be Brett Berg and the Rink Seed Moneymaker. Just a gorgeous tractor. Kicked this season off in a positive fashion. Back-to-back podium finishes at our first 2 hooks with a 2nd place and a 3rd place finish. So right there in the hunt to chase this championship.
Yeah, and he's picked up a couple wins here at Goshen, and he always puts on a different set of tires and a different gearbox for this track as well. So let's see if he's picked the right combination.
Well, and he unfortunately goes towards the left as well, although I don't think it was something that he pulled back on. I just think he missed the setup here. Didn't seem like he had quite the ground speed that they typically have. Maybe a wrong gear.
Well, and I think, too, he was looking to kind of slingshot it down from the corner. You know, everybody else, even going back to the Superstock diesel trucks and the Unlimited Superstocks, they stayed in the middle and to that low side. And so what he's thinking, I've got these big 30.5-inch tires. I got to get a good hole shot. I got to get a good start. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the right-hand side, get some fresh dirt. But unfortunately, it wasn't as good as he thought.
We welcome you back to the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair Pull presented by Lucas Oil Products. We're here in Goshen, Indiana, watching the super modified tractors go at it here, the third hook of the 2024 season. Just saw the ring seat moneymaker go out there. I thought he might have been in the wrong gear, or I said that, and after re-watching it while we were at commercial break, the front end came up, and I think maybe he just lost a little bit of grip and some momentum that went along with it. This track has been tricky for sure, and another one going way out to the left-hand side. Man, oh man, if that thing tweaked that chassis as well. Had to get it back over to the right-hand side. Some crazy driving right there, but somehow kept that thing in bounds. Craig Sage with the Ohio Express Jr. went 255 and 29, but it was the most exciting 255 feet of the night.
Just the frame flex that you see out of that machine right off the get-go. Now, even though he's got 3 motors, he's still trying to push 10,000 horsepower as well, getting that tough luck round of applause from the fans here. He's going to go back to the drawing board just a little bit. This is the first time we've seen him here at Goshen too, so if you haven't been on this track, you don't have notes, it's going to make it even tougher.
Up next will be Dave Walsh with the Challenger, the Irish Challenger as it were, and Leslie had a chance to speak with him a little bit earlier.
The Walsh camp brings 4 bullets to the track, and Dave, you drive 3 of those. And so they're very different machines, and they have different driving styles. So kind of take us through, how the fuel's delivered on each of them and how that makes a difference to you as a driver.
Well, the green one here is your blown motor, racing motor with burns methanol. So that's fairly, when you set these up, you just got to maintain what pill you want to put in it to lean it out or fatten it up. And on the yellow one, them are Pratt & Whitney's jet engines, but they're a pretty simple turbine to work on. They're not as complicated as the GE T64s, which our other tractor is a GE T64, which is a complicated motor to work on. As far as the fuel control and all the other stuff, it's more complicated. It's harder to keep running, but the Pratt & Whitneys are good turbine engines.
Way over there by the chalk. I'd be surprised if he didn't get into the chalk. Clearly making an adjustment there after seeing all the other competitors go to the left. He's the first one that has gone to the right. He is going to record a distance, 275 and 71, so that would indicate that he did not get into the chalk and stay in bounds.
And so he's off to a good start. You can see that left leg pumping the brake, trying to bring it back around. It is stiff all the way out. And so did the best that he could to try to keep it in bounds. I'm so surprised, Ken. I really thought that he was going to be up on those banners and that he was going to hit the white. But he kept it in bounds, and that's all you got to do to get that measurable distance and try to stay ahead of the next guy.
And the team tractor right up next. Here we go with the Meristem Crop Performance back turbine-powered machine. That one was hopping just a bit right there at the very hook, at the very hit, if you will, and just wasn't happy. Finally got it settled down and started cruising up through there, but again, off to the left-hand side with a distance of 281 and 85.
And I can't believe how much dirt they're actually kicking up against that buckboard, throwing it up in the air, and that box on that General Tire sled is hitting hard. And so you can see he finally starts to get lined out. Here comes the box. Wham! Gives him a little bit of a jolt in the seat and gives the tractor a jolt as well. And so it smooths it out at that point, and then it also brings his run to a close. And so unfortunately for him, just not enough ground speed at the beginning to keep it going. We've only got 2 to go. Stay with us so we can crown our champ in the Supermods.
The Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, Pole Machine, and ARP Automotive Racing Products. We're covering the super modified tractor category presented by Mitas Tires. Welcome back to the ARP Elkhart County 4-H Fair presented by Lucas Oil Products. Here comes the third tractor out of the Walsh camp. This one's called Old Blue. Chris Linerud behind the wheel. All three tractors pretty close in distance, 275 and 71, 281 and 85, and Old Blue turns in a distance of 273 and 43.
I think it's almost safe to say here this track is not really suited for the power that those turbines really put, or the aircraft engines really put in the ground here. You know, it's a different type of driving style. They have to get those RPMs up early. They've got a line lock out there. Once they get it to the point that they need, then they go ahead and send that power to the rear end. Once you do that, though, you lose a lot of your drivability. And so unlike the reciprocating engines where, you know, you can kind of control it with the throttle, once you leave the line, you don't have that opportunity. I think the real testament here will be if Steve Bunnage can make a good go of it here in his second attempt after that sled reset.
And it went nice and straight. Unfortunately, did not get the distance out of it that he needed to be with the players here today. 288 and 62 for the final hook in the category.
I think the big win for him, though, is that there's not a lot of blow-by on the ground. There's no parts on the ground, because to come back that fast after hooking, that can be really hard on parts when things are still really hot. I mean, I know they take blowers and they try to get everything cooled down out there, but with the struggles that he's had this year and last year, to see it in one piece at the end, that's a win for him.
So we'll take a look at our results here in the super modified tractor. That is courtesy of AKE Safety Equipment, and Brandon Simon on top here once again. He's having a great season. Let's go down and talk to our winner.
What's the first official hook that takes the win here? Brennan, it seemed like you really left the line very, very hard. Do you think having all that ground speed helped you at the top end?
Yeah, I think it helped me. It was just tough tractor, kind of read there at the beginning, and they reset it when I was up, and we laid down a good pass, and we were happy with it, and I kept it and it held it up. And we're fortunate. Couldn't do it without some Pico oil and RJ and Steve and Mike and everybody back home. My brother-in-law's back home at the business working, my two sisters, my wife, all four of my kids here, Braylon and Cash and Brent and Riggs and my wife, and I couldn't do it without them. And then, of course, my good buddy and worker, Brad Walkup, puts his heart and soul in this deal, and I'm just the lucky one that gets up and gets to shoe it all the time. And just big thanks to him and Chad Mayhill for the tires. We swung through today and got a new set on, and we just couldn't be more happy. And big shout out to John and Christy for everything they do with PPL, and you and your camera crew, Leslie, and everybody else with the flagging and tech. And it's really cool what they're doing, and we're glad to be supporting them.
Here's a look at the points courtesy of Summit Racing Equipment for the super modified tractor category, with Brandon Simon up top now, starting to stretch it out just a little bit over Brett Berg, and then Steve Bunnage inside of the top three, followed up by Dan Walsh and Dave Walsh to round out your top five. It's been a great day here. We always enjoy coming here to Goshen, Indiana. Certainly enjoyed bringing all three categories to you as well. Hope you enjoyed the Superstock diesel trucks, the unlimited Superstockers, and of course, super modified tractor. For Leslie Mayers, I'm Ken Stout. See you next time.